Hi, everyone. Welcome to I Think I Can Be Happier. Today, we are introducing our new podcast.
Yeah.
And
Woohoo.
yes, and I'm so excited. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm so excited too. This has been, in the works for quite a while. So it's really fun to actually be recording with the intention to drop this episode. So I'm super
Yes,
excited. And I'm so happy to be
yes.
here with you.
I
This
know.
is
I
so
know.
fun. This is so
I know.
fun.
We've talked
Yeah.
about this for a while, and I'm glad we're finally making it happen. So yeah,
I guess we should introduce ourselves a little bit. I am Hannah Choi.
I am Amy McDuffie.
Amy and I met as executive function coaches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many
Yeah.
years ago. Hannah, I realize when people hear executive function coach, that may bring up, a lot of questions. So for anyone who might be wondering what that is, executive function coaching just helps people work towards their goals and helps them address their challenges by supporting, skills like task initiation, time management, emotional regulation is a big one, and also help them reduce procrastination. So,
And also
yeah.
build confidence through all that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I know from my
absolutely.
own my own experience working on my executive function skills, I feel like I've become a more confident person. So,
Definitely. Me
mhm.
too. And I think that, yeah, like the habit formation along with all of that too is a big part of it. Just getting
Mhm.
into those new habits. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you may recognize me from Focus Forward, which was a podcast all about executive function skills. And so in this podcast, the main focus isn't executive functioning, but because we are executive function coaches and live in that world, we do just look through everything, life, behavior, everything
Right.
through that executive functioning lens. So you're probably going to hear us
Yes.
talking about it a lot as we just sort of naturally tie everything back to executive functioning. And these life skills, they're just so critical for supporting us through life, through every single day that we live. And so we just felt like there's such a strong correlation between strong executive function skills and this idea of like being happier. So it's like a really nice collab.
Yes. Yes, the marriage of the two. Hannah, do you wanna share a little more about about yes, we worked together, just how we ended up becoming friends from that.
Yeah. Yeah. So Amy and I do not live in the same area of the country. Well, we're both on the East Coast, but I'm in Connecticut and she's in North Carolina. So our friendship did develop virtually. We worked together on some projects and then we ended up working on a webinar together and we just realized we really clicked.
Yes.
And we were like,
Yes.
wait a second, there might be something more to this than just just like a professional relationship. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
And Hannah, I remember we started out by setting up monthly like virtual coffee chats,
Mhm.
which was
Yeah.
so great. And
Mhm.
I love to think about, I remember the first time you texted me because you had asked me for my phone number when we were working on a webinar. And I think your first text, I would have to look, but it was something like, "You are so going to regret giving me your number." And that just makes me laugh because, like, absolutely, like one of the best things ever that's happened to me is, yeah, being your friend. So, but I,
Aw.
but I love that. So here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
I'm thinking back and I think what I meant by that was uh let's go. Come along for this ride with me.
Yes.
Let's get into some shenanigans together. And
Yes.
yeah, yeah, my friendship with you is one of the things in life that I'm just most grateful for. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad
Me too.
that I got your phone number.
Yes. Me too. I'm so glad I said yes
Yeah.
to all that. So,
I
yeah.
know, right? It's amazing what can
Yeah.
happen when you take a leap and say yes to stuff.
Hannah, do you want to tell us a little bit more about your background as well?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so you guys can get to know us a little bit.
Mhm.
So, as I mentioned just a little bit before, I did just wrap up 4 years on the Focus Forward podcast, which was just such an amazing experience. I loved every minute of it. And I got to collaborate with some really amazing people. Sean Potts, my favorite. Sean and I worked on that podcast and grew it from nothing over the years. And it was just such a great experience. And I learned so much doing it. I learned about myself. I actually discovered I had ADHD through the process of hosting that podcast. And finding that out, getting that diagnosis has just been the best thing ever for me. So I just really want to, acknowledge how important that experience was for me and how grateful I am for Focus Forward.
That's
But
great.
work-wise, I've just always been in helping professions. I think I must have set out early on to never make any money because I've just always been in helping
Yes.
professions. And I think that's, the work, that work is just so much more important to me than
Yeah.
anything material. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
have always supported students mostly, and then I actually fell in love with working with college students when I was in the accommodations office at the Santa Barbara City College back before I had my kids, and I really loved working with college students there. And then after I had my kids, I needed to go back to work. And so I started working as an executive function coach. And then that's when I really discovered the importance of executive function skills. And then that role expanded into hosting webinars and the podcast and having speaking opportunities. And I don't know, I just discovered that side of me. I didn't know that I loved the public speaking and that kind of education, and so I've just really enjoyed that so much, and I just really believe in how important strong executive function skills are. I've seen it in myself, I've seen it in my clients, and I really like thinking about them as strengthening them globally and not just these life hacks. Like I feel like so often like social
Right.
media that makes you think like, oh, just get a planner or
Yes.
just do this. Like just put on a podcast while you're doing the task that
Right.
you hate doing. It's like, yeah, those
Right.
things are great, but is it going to create lasting change?
Yeah.
I think we need
Yeah.
to really look at more than just those and really do some deep work on all the other executive function skills that support us too. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tell the listeners about you, Amy.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
your journey? Also,
Yeah.
you haven't done a podcast before, so
I know.
how did you get to this right here?
Well, how I got to this moment is because of you, Hannah. So, yes, yeah. So ultimately that, but yeah, just to share a little about my background. I come from a background of being in helping professions as well. I spent years working in schools, and I have a background in behavior. And this eventually, like, just kind of naturally led me into a deep dive into executive function strategies because a lot of my work focused on self-regulation. And I also needed very, very strong self-regulation to do my job every day. Working with challenging situations just really taught me a lot about the power of compassion and the need to prioritize happiness for myself. One of my former supervisors long ago asked me, how I showed up to work every day, with the ability to bring some light into situations. And it really made me think about, the choice that I made every day when I walked in the door to do just that. And it wasn't easy. It was definitely not something that, was easy to do. It took a lot of work on my part. And I was able to make that choice though, because I did a lot of work behind the scenes and went through a lot of trial and error to get there, to figure out, how to make that happen for myself. And then that led me into executive function coaching. Felt like I was ready to embrace that 100%. So that was about 5 years ago. And, coaching is one-to-one, it's individual. So I feel like you and I doing this podcast is really an opportunity to, make an impact on a larger audience. And also, I want to learn how other people find happiness, across different circumstances in their lives and, dealing with those challenges as well. So yeah, I'm excited to dig into this.
And how do you feel about your voice being out there for people to hear? I mean,
I mean,
you've done the webinars, but this is
yeah,
different.
this is different. This definitely feels different. I mean, just to be honest, I'm nervous. It's a little scary to think about that. I've always been, a very private person. I'm absolutely introverted. So this is definitely a big push for me to get out here. But it's also comforting knowing that you're here, you've done this, and I know I'm going to learn a lot from this experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's different for me too because on Focus Forward I didn't have a co-host.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is
Yeah.
kind of exciting, but also
Yeah.
well, we've already recorded some things and I'm like, "Oh, Hannah, you got to stop hogging the mic." But it's just I
It's,
just like switch into podcast host mode.
no,
So
it's great.
yeah, so I think as listeners it will be cool. I hope that you stick with us along the way because I do think that this show is going to evolve as we both learn
Yeah.
and as we both discover what works for us and what doesn't work. And so if you are listening to this first episode and you decide to join us for this ride, I think it's going to be pretty great
Yeah.
because there's just so much to be learned and so much growing to do. And
Yeah.
we are one of our goals, like our first goal really, is to be as like authentic as possible.
Hmm.
And this isn't going to be highly polished, like
Right.
slick production. We are really
No.
trying to just be ourselves. And one of my favorite quotes that helps me so much is by Arlen Hamilton, and she said, "Be yourself so that the people looking for you
Mm.
can find you." And
Yes.
so if this show is for you, then welcome. And if it's not for you, there are so many other amazing resources out there about the journey of, or about the sort of adventure of finding whatever this happiness is. There are so many resources. The Happiness Lab, the Happiness
Yes.
Podcast, the Science of Happiness. There's so many amazing
Yes.
resources
Yes.
out there. So if we are not for you, don't worry, we're not offended. But,
Right.
find the resources that support you. And if we are for you,
Yeah.
welcome.
I know. That's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, Hannah, thinking about that, thinking about all of those other podcasts out there, yeah, why do you think we need another one here?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I was thinking about, well, first of all, my ADHD was like, you got to do another podcast.
Do it right now.
Yeah, do it now. So about 10 years ago, I was walking home from dropping my kids off at school, and it was just like a regular day, nothing interesting about it. And all of a sudden, I had this thought that just came to me, and it was, I think I can be happier. And not like this, and you'll hear us talking over the next few episodes where we talk a lot about how happiness itself is a fleeting moment. Like it's an emotion that you feel in the moment and then it passes. And the true thing that we talk about when we're saying the word happier is like contentment. But that doesn't work for a podcast title. And it's also not what I said to myself. I said, I think I can be happier.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah. And so that got me thinking, like I set off on a journey to see if I could be happier. And I absolutely have found a lot more contentment in my life. And then it just made me think, like, I don't know, maybe other people are interested in that
Yeah.
too. And it's
Yes.
just another voice, another opportunity for people to listen. And something that I think is different is that many of the podcasts and resources out there are hosted by experts
Right.
who
Yes.
actually know what they're talking
Right.
about.
Yes. Yeah, we're just learning along the way. So,
We are. We're learning along the way.
yeah.
So we are experts in executive functioning, and we will bring
Yes.
that in.
Mm.
But we are not experts in thinking we can be happier. And
Right.
and so I'm so happy to be able to do this and see where we go, see what
Yeah,
happens.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Me too.
I have to
Yes.
admit, one of my secret like desires is to get Laurie Santos from the Happiness Lab on I Think I
Hannah,
Can Be Happier.
Hannah, I wanted to talk with you about that. I've already been thinking about that. So, yes,
I did
Lori,
meet
if you're
her. I did
listening.
get to meet Laurie at Greens Farms Academy, which is a school nearby. And
Mhm.
she they do a speaker series, and she came to speak at the series last
Oh
year.
my
So I
goodness.
did get to meet Laurie, but we hadn't started the podcast yet, so
Yeah.
I couldn't invite her on. But
Right.
Laurie, yes, if you're listening, we love
Yes.
you. We'd love to have you
Yes.
on.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
great. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk briefly, Amy, about what this show is not, right?
Okay. Yeah.
What are we
Yes.
not? What are we not? Because I think it
Yeah.
is really important to cover that.
Absolutely. Yes, I do want to make sure we clarify that this is our intention is not to go down the road of toxic positivity. We're not here to just say, yeah, just be happier, just do this thing and you will be happier. That is absolutely not what this is about. We want to own our own challenges. We want to hear and, delve into others' challenges. So we definitely do not want to dismiss the challenges in life. We really want to lean into them so we can, can learn from each other and learn from others on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you'll hear some of our guests share, that is where the learning happens, is
Mm-hmm.
when they did lean into it, and where they didn't go in with toxic
Right.
positivity, just ignoring the challenges and I'll
Right.
just, like Pollyanna my way through this.
Right.
And that is where the true growth and meaning happens. So in the show, we have so far, we'll see what happens, but so far we've got the idea of doing 3 types of
Mm-hmm.
episodes. One, we'll do deep dives where it's just Amy and I talking about a topic or a book. And then we will also do interviews, both with people who share their stories with us about what they've gone through. So if you would like to be on our show, please reach out and let us know. We're taking all sorts of stories about people who are either on their journey towards more to being happier, or have had an experience that has really tested their abilities and what they've learned. And then we'll also do just some quick tips or tools, especially probably leaning pretty heavily into executive functioning.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. What are you
Yeah.
most excited about, Amy?
I'm excited just to hear everyone's stories, and to have those conversations. And I think I'm most excited just for us to release some episodes. We've done, a couple of interviews at this point, and I just can't wait to get those out there. What about
Mm.
you?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
same. I mean, I love talking with people, and I love hearing people's stories. And the other thing I really love is looking for patterns, looking through for threads that connect all the stories that people share. And it's really, so far, what we've heard so far is it's the human experience. Like, it is a
Hmm.
shared experience.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I think that if you are listening and you don't necessarily relate too much to the guest's actual life experience, I think you will really relate to what they get out of it.
So, Hannah, do you wanna share what's coming up here in the next couple of
Yeah.
weeks and months? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So in the next episode, Amy and I discuss the book by Kelly McGonigal, Dr. Kelly McGonigal. By the end of the episode, I'm on first name basis with her. Actually, like
Yes.
nickname. I think I call her Kel at one point. And she wrote a fantastic book called The Upside of Stress, which is like just currently sort of guiding a lot of my choices in life. And then we actually had Neha, who is my therapist, on, and we recorded a fantastic conversation with her where she shared some really amazing strategies and insight on the idea of happiness and contentment. And then Ian joined us, and he shared his life story about how he discovered that it's not actually about the goal of happiness in the first place. What you think is your goal ends up being different than you expect. Yeah. And then Jody's story is just amazing. She joined us to talk about learning to find joy again after the death of her husband. So yeah, just really great stories. And as we said, if you would like to come on and share your story, we would really love to have you. So.
I'm excited for what comes next here, Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're planning to close every episode with going through the option of 3 questions. So the first option is to share something that's been hard lately. The second, something you're working towards. And the third, something that's bringing you joy or something you're looking forward to. So Hannah, you're up first. Which one do you choose today?
I'm going to choose something that's been hard for me this week. It's Friday, and I have to say, thank goodness it is Friday. I kind of
Yes.
felt like that Friday would never come. I don't
Yes.
know, you and I were sharing all week that
Yes.
Friday this week was really challenging. I've
Yes.
just had a lot. I was traveling, and now I am back, and I just have been really struggling this week to keep up, to catch
Mm.
up, to keep a positive attitude. It's been really hard, but I've been leaning on the people in my life that give me support and guidance, and leaning very heavily on my ADHD meds and executive function strategies. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yes.
What about you, Amy?
It's great. Actually, Hannah, I'm gonna share something I'm looking forward to. And actually thinking about the conversation that we did have with Neha, I'm really gonna be intentional about like actually determining this every day, even if it's something really small, just to have a little something every day to look forward to. Because yes, as you know, it's been a rough week, but I'm really looking forward to just today after I finish work, getting time with my family. I've got a kiddo home from college this weekend, so I'm just excited for all of us to have some time together and hopefully get outside and just enjoy some time together. Yeah.
Great. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us and listening. And you can check out the show notes. We will, every episode, we will be sharing some information for you in the show notes. Also, just a reminder that this podcast is not a substitute for professional mental health support. So we ask you to please, take care of yourself. And if you do need help, please reach out to a qualified licensed provider. We'd love to hear from you. You can visit our website, icanbehappier.com, and sign up for our newsletter there, or shoot us an email at hello@icanbehappier.com. Thanks for listening.